Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. That was actually going to be my next question, though. You're a ball knower. You know ball. So I guess that was my question was, and again, I say this is somebody who looked at this team on paper in May or June or whenever it all came together and said, I think that's a top 15 team that could compete for a Final Four. You could be honest. What percentage do you think, just your personal opinion, and then maybe you could share the Razorback perspective of maybe just these pieces didn't fit as well as we thought? And it is worth noting, by the way, their best and probably most important players now out for the year. So that throws a wrinkle in things as well. But how much of it do you think is just bad pieces? And how much are you genuinely worried, like, oh, man, maybe we just, maybe this guy just is, he's on the tail end of his career?
I think, honestly, this roster that he put together was a good idea in theory. But
and really quick, for people who don't know, Arkansas fans know, but maybe a Kentucky fan, maybe somebody else listening. What do you take? Nine scholarship players, right? And when I say scholarship, because Arkansas, chirping at me, we have more players on scholarship. He basically took 9 playable players and then just took and basically said, this is what we're rolling with. And John, I'll be very quick on this. I want to get it back to you. He did it because last year he had 11 players at Kentucky. Throughout the entire season, he never had a fully healthy roster. This guy's hurt. This guy comes back. That guy gets hurt. Then all of a sudden the tournament starts and he's got 11 healthy players and he didn't know what to do with it. So the floor is yours. That was, I think, where you were going with the big miscue. And I just wanted for people to understand this. There was a reason that he did it. It wasn't, hey, at 65 years old, I'm just going to start rolling the dice and seeing what happens. But I cut you off. And again, the question for people who forget because Torres rambles too much is basically like, what percentage is it just bad pieces versus what is it might just, it might just be who he is at this point?
Well, I think that it was in the time, it made sense to me. Sure. I think it made sense to a lot of people. It wasn't, and anybody that said that that's a stupid idea, it was maybe, just trying to be condescending or trying to be, that guy. But I got what he was trying to go for. And I remember very vividly him making the remark when kind of pushed back a little bit. He's like, well, because somebody said, hey, what if one of those players gets injured? What are you going to do? And his response was, well, hey, if your best player gets injured, it doesn't matter if you have 12 guys on scholarship. You're going to have a hit. And so I think in theory, it made sense. And I think it also helped get a much more talented player with a better budget for the NIL, where it's like, hey, I can spend $2 million, or just we'll throw averages out there, $1.5 million per player on 9 players, or do I have to spend $1 million on average on 11, 12 players? So it made sense in the time, but that's where I look at it as you took the wrong risk. I think if Cal would have stuck with the way he kind of wanted it to be in his first year and normally had done it, and then if that didn't work out, go to the next year, it would be a little different. But this year, it's just starting this badly, and this is the first impression people get, makes it really rough. So I think that he meant good, and I think that he had the right idea. But the execution of it, and also dealing with the fact that there have been injuries. Jonas Adu, he's still not healthy. That guy has been really bad for Arkansas. He has not been healthy, and he hasn't been healthy really even in the offseason. Nelly Davis, kind of the same thing. Not making excuses, but between that, Trevin Brazil's dealt with injury. Big Z dealt with injury. You had Adu Thiero was sick for a week or two. Now Boogie Flan's out for the year. So it's just you can't manage it that way. It's bad luck. Now, if this team was fully healthy throughout the entire offseason, playing together, working together, and they were fully healthy now, would this team be undefeated or anything? No. But I feel confident that they would be an NCAA tournament team at least. I feel like they would be at minimum that. And that's where it was a mistake that has snowballed and has really made matters a lot worse. Because this is the thing I always get with Kentucky fans. And they talk about Cal's awful and everything. And, oh, you thought Cal was not washed. No, what I think most Razorback fans thought is that Cal would come in and do what he did at Kentucky the past 3 seasons, which is go 14-4, 12-6, and 13-5 in the SEC.
Thank
You know,
you.
like that's all people were like. Arkansas, they weren't saying, "Oh, 5 in a row national championships, here we come." I think people had a reasonable expectation that he would do at Arkansas what he would and had done at Kentucky the past few years. Because at Arkansas, he had better NIL budget. He has a passionate fan base. He has all the abilities and all the reasons to win. He got to hire his staff the way he wanted it to. I mean, he was set up for success. And that's what fans expected. That's what fans wanted. And it couldn't be further from it. So that is what it comes down to. It's not just that Arkansas is struggling. It's just, I don't think anyone in any dreamed, even the people that hated Cal the most, I don't think anyone would have dreamed in a million years that he would miss the NCAA tournament in his first year at Arkansas with this team. But that's exactly what's going to end up happening.
Well, and that's what I keep defaulting to when people yell at me and, oh, Torres, you did. It's like they did finish second in the toughest SEC that has ever existed a year ago. Now, this year's tougher, but last year was the toughest. We all acknowledged at the time that was the best SEC that ever existed. They finished in second place, won it, Tennessee the final day of the regular season, whatever. And that kind of, leads into my next question. You kind of hit on it earlier, is that this year's kind of a gimme year. We're going to give him a pass, everything. How much just big picture do you think he has? And then how much big picture time do you think he has if things don't go well? And it's tough because, I was watching and I did this segment on my show and I got crushed by Arkansas fans. Oh, you're using our downfall to, whatever. And then it was like somebody wrote an article that's saying I was demanding his retirement. And I was like, I don't think that's what I said. All I said was he doesn't look very like he's having very much fun right now. And I said at 60, I'll tell you, John Nabors, at 65 years old, if I ain't having fun what I'm doing and I got 100 million in the bank like John Calipari does, you better, I better, whatever. So the point I'm trying to make is like how much if things like it's from his perspective as a guy that's around him every day, but then also from the Arkansas, like what is the runway here? I mean, let's say you get next year, you're significantly improved to the point of you're a tournament team, but you're not, like you said, vintage old school Cal when the SEC was a 3-bid league and you're going 17-1 in the league or whatever. But just big picture, like how long do you think this goes on? And I guess I would even ask, like, do you think he doesn't appear to be having fun, but nobody has fun when you lose, so it's a little bit tough. So I don't know. I just threw like 7 things at you without really even stating a question, but I'll just kind of let you take it from here.
No, I'm good at that. Don't worry. No, it's funny because, he's here for a 5-year contract is what he originally signed. And I think most Razorback fans are good with 5 years. Like 5 years seems reasonable. And I think that's what the hope is. And that's assuming, though, that he gets this thing back on track. That's why this year is such a crucial year of getting behind the 8 ball, because now you don't have, like you mentioned, the goodwill, the good grace, the benefit of the doubt. You don't have that anymore. I kind of chalk it up to what Sam Pittman went through a little bit. Sam Pittman came in with a terrible situation after Chad Morris. First year, the COVID year, when there was 10 SEC games, he won 3. It was kind of a weird year, but still much better. But then his next year he goes 9-4. And everyone's just singing the praises of Sam Pittman, how awesome he is. Everyone's loved. And he brings in a ton of talent the next year, the transfer portal. It's great. But then he goes 6-6 and then 4-8 and then 6-6 again. The worst thing that ever happened to Sam Pittman was that year 2. Sure. Because it set that bar, that expectation so high. And now you have kind of the opposite right now with Cal, where the bar was extremely high, and now he's down here already. Like there was no year to establish it. There was no year to make up for it. It's do or die year 2. And when I say do or die in year 2, I'm talking about not just making the NCAA tournament, but making it to the second weekend type of thing. Because with the amount of talent and, again, NIL and support, there is zero excuse and zero reason for Cal to miss the NCAA tournament. When you get to the tournament, we all know it's a crapshoot, man. It's tough. It's hard to win. We all know that. But you can't go anywhere if you can't make it at all. Like you have to make Arkansas is a program, and I've said this many times. Is Arkansas a blue-blooded basketball program like Kansas, Duke, North Carolina? No. But they are a program that should never miss the NCAA tournament under any circumstance. They are that type of basketball program. And for Cal to have this year, I hate to say it, Aaron, but I think last year's Arkansas and Eric Musselman team beats this team, as crazy as that is. And that team was bad, very bad. Players that still play right now are doing well, but I thought that was a disaster, and I thought that'd be the worst it would ever be. I think last year's team smokes this year's team. That's how bad it is right now.